Hello, fellow humans. My name is Ed,
And my name is Zach, and this is Fully Gay Radio.
the podcast that helps you feel more at homo. We are here again today to communicate, titillate, and educate,
Because community doesn't happen.
unless you make it happen. Good morning, good evening, Zach. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
Episode 2 is Zach. All right. Today, we're making community happen by talking about self alignment, one of my all time greatest, absolute favorite topics. I think it's really relevant, fun, and exciting for gay men in particular, gay men and queers and homos and queers. What do you think about self alignment, Zach?
Well, for a long time, I didn't know what it meant. And then I started working with my friend a while ago. And then I started working with you, and I was like, oh, the more I gained from it, and then the more structure I had, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually really fucking important. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Should we start with a definition and then perhaps we can both explain how we understand personally and have experienced personally self alignment or lack
yeah, it
of?
sounds good to me. You go right ahead and get that definition.
All right, cool. Sure. So I was going to grab it from the dictionary. I went to 3 different websites and was displeased with all of them. One asked me for money. I was like, nope. And then I got the Google definition. But it turns out self alignment in the personal development world is a lot more nuanced than dictionaries, it seems, any that I found so far want to tackle. My definition of self alignment is when you find and know your heart of hearts. And so you build your life around that. You create a life situation that reflects the you inside that yearns to live, be expressed, be seen and known and loved and wanted. And therefore, when you're in self alignment, your behaviors show who you are. People can see and smell and feel who you are, your uniqueness, your strangeness, your normalcy. Um, yeah, self alignment is when you don't have a problem with being how you feel you deeply, deeply are inside, which you can see why that begins a bit of a gay journey because we've all been shamed and told not to be who we are inside at a certain point of our lives. And that, as we know, if you've listened to a few of these episodes, spins out into overthinking, compensating, people pleasing, self doubt, etc. And all of these things, I would argue, move you further away from self alignment. And self trust brings you, opens the door and gives you a pathway back towards self alignment. Then you got to take that action to become the man that you are inside. And then you are self aligned. When you are being and becoming in an infinite sense, the man that you feel that you are most deeply, truly, madly, deeply, deep inside, then I would say you're in self alignment.
Yeah, I
How do you
agree
like
with
my
it.
definition? Yeah, feel
Uh,
good? Sound
yeah,
good?
that's solid for me.
Yep. All right. Awesome. So, Zach, how in your life have you experienced differences and different times and experiences when you have felt like that you were deeply in self alignment and when you were not?
Hmm. Well, when I've actually been in it is interesting versus when I know I've definitely had a lot of experiences not being in it. Uh,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I guess recently I was out of alignment, I guess, because I was believing a part of myself that was basically telling me I was a piece of shit and that I'm actually a bad person. And I
Mm,
was really wrapped up in it for a couple of days until I, finally separated it. Actually, yesterday,
mm,
watching one of your lessons, in
mm,
fact, that everybody can find. Just saying, the
mm,
alignment lesson,
mm.
if you will, and just as a refresher. And then I was like, oh yeah, right, that's the story, and this is actually me. So then I guess I was
Yeah.
self-aligned again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Really get great illumination of we go through experiences and we can feel bad as a result and we can get self-defeating thoughts, we can have trauma, we can have pain, we can have suffering, and then these things inform our perception of reality. But ultimately, if you realize you're just telling yourself a negative story, stuff sucks, that happens, pain is real, suffering is real, but on top of that we then make meaning out of it and tell a story that's not self-alignment because it is of the mind. And so when your mind is telling you you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too gay, you're too old, you're too ugly, you're not rich enough. These are stories and are separate to self-alignment in that they are a fragment of your sense of self, the sense of yourself that you believe in. And I'm going to go into a bit more detail shortly about how beliefs, assumptions, thoughts, and values are not self. And so you cannot be aligned to values. That may be a sentence that challenges some people that are listening, because I think, have you experienced at school or something, people like, oh, what are your values? Do you align with them? Do you feel that that's the general way that people go about discussing self-alignment, like through values?
I mean, for me, growing up in a super Christian area, that, the values talk is huge. So, and it's all judgy, and it does not really, it's like, well, how can you, not murder people? How do you have values like not murdering people if you don't, uh, believe in Jesus or whatever? And it's like, because I don't want to fucking murder people. Maybe you right now, but
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect example. Yes. It's it's not because of a value that we don't want to murder people. It's because it's out of alignment with your true self. Now,
mm,
that's up to every listener and individual to explore for themselves. But I love asking the guys that I work with, do you want to hurt people and cause drama? Or do you want to learn, grow, get wise, get powerful, have sex, eat chocolate cake, express yourself, enjoy art, play games, play tennis, whatever your heart calls for? Or do you want to cause problems, drama, and pain and suffering and hurt people? It's always the positive version, never the negative version. And, some of those people have read the Bible and some of them haven't. So maybe it's not about what you believe. Maybe it's not about what you've been taught. Maybe it's not about what your head thinks. And confusing your sense of self, your self-identity with your heart of hearts, is a misalignment, or is a missing the point, missing the desired outcome or goal that I love to help people find. Because in the gay and queer story arc, it's extremely redemptive. We've been taught that we are wrong and bad and not enough, both directly and indirectly. I do think that not having examples of happy gay queer characters is it's an omission of something very valid, important, and real, and therefore it's a sort of an accidental passive form of harm. Maybe that's a strong statement, but basically, we were taught or shown that we are different or wrong, strongly suggested, but that's just an idea. That's a thought. It actually ultimately is just a thought and a belief. Even if you stop challenging it and stop questioning it, it's a story. And once you realize what is a story, what is not, they can often lose their power over you. And then we can build some new stories and build some new characters and have our own experiences and come to our own conclusions based on our firsthand experience of living life in reality. And, the gay queer story, it often leads you to self-harm or self-destruction or to self-acceptance. And everyone still alive and ticking here with us today must have experienced a certain amount of self-acceptance or surrender or giving up the fight against the imaginings that you are wrong or bad, and therefore you're able to live with yourself, and therefore you can feel that bit happier and lighter and freer. So the whole values and thinking and mind stuff goes deep for us, and it's a big deal. And then what happens? So this is why when I do my coaching, it's witness, accept, align. Align is sort of step 3, even though you do all of the processes sort of all the time. Self-alignment is finding and becoming who you truly are in your heart of hearts. Working a job that matters to you, finding a partner that feels right for you, treating people and behaving and acting and expressing yourself and exploring yourself and life in a way that deeply aligns with you is very different to acting out what is quote unquote good or bad based on judgment, thoughts, and teachings. Cool.
yeah,
You just basically agree with everything I said?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, there's a,
anything to add? Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, like with I was like, I should be writing this down, but the or my points, I guess I should say.
Just let
But
it wash over you, Zach.
I know, seriously, I'm great at doing that. For sorry, for
Have you lost the plot?
I
You
guess
want me to help?
No,
Okay, cool. No, good job.
yeah,
The next topic that we might want to dive into gently is feelings, transient feelings, they come, they go. These are not, well, these might be results of thinking that you're either aware of or not aware of. But your feelings, your current transient feelings that come, they go, they're also, I would argue, distinct from your truth and your heart of hearts. Don't confuse your thoughts or your feelings for your deeper self. They are not the same thing. And how, if people listening, there are some people that are really struggling with this at the moment. For some people, this is easy and basic, and maybe they've always intrinsically known themselves and been connected to themselves and felt very safe and comfortable in their own skin. For other people, they may struggle actually to feel their deeper sense of self. And I have this wonderful exercise that's a really fun gay exercise is imagine a big, fluffy, warm bed in a really nice tent in a fantasy magical land that lives in your head. And imagine a really nice man on that bed, and he looks the way you want him to look, and he smells the way you want him to smell, and he's wearing that thing that you like so much, and you can either leave it on him or you can take that thing off him if you want. He wants to play. He's here for you. He's very excited and happy and interested in being here. And now it's a woman, and she has big boobies and a vagina, and she's saying, hey, big boy, you want to come touch my big titties? Oh, something like that. Thank you for listening. And if you're bi, maybe you were a little bit aroused. If you're gay, you were not aroused by that, and you had a kind of a feeling. That feeling, I think, is pointing to the thing that I'm getting at. The you inside of you knows who you are. And indirectly, through experiences like sexuality, you can discover more of your heart of hearts, your truth. But it comes indirectly. The kind of music you like, the kind of hobbies that you like, the way you like to interact with people, the way you like to have sex, the things and people that you like to have sex with, the art that you enjoy. These things reflect back at you what you will come to find is either in alignment with you or out of alignment with you. Like, I love bears. Why the hell do I love bears? I was brought up in Australia. There's no bears here. I just love them. They hit something inside of me that feels right. It feels sort of me, and I love them. I love their playfulness, their fuzziness, their softness, but also their strength and their potential ferocity. That doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to the mind, but to my deeper self and to my whole self, it feels abundantly right to me. So much so that I have a gigantic bear paw tattoo on my belly. And a lot of people ask, is that a gay thing, or is brown bear coaching a gay thing? And I tell them, well, actually, it's kind of an Ed Wilson thing. I just love it, and it feels right for me. And I know when I'm in alignment. I got that tattoo when I was 18 years old. I was just out of high school. And I'd moved to a country town to do work with a gold exploration company. And it was pretty hard work. It was the hardest work I'd done to date. You know, I was a teenager. And I was making good money, and I was keeping up my fitness, and I was, getting on with my life. And I realized, like, I'm pushing really hard to serve and love me and become the man that I want to be and build the things that I want for my life. And I knew at that time, this is decades before I was a life coach. And I just knew this is how I want to be all the time. When I lose this sense of this, I want to know what it was and come back to it. And I didn't have a lot of bear paraphernalia up until that point, but I knew I wanted a bear paw on my tummy. So that reminds me of me and my self-alignment and knowing when I'm in the zone and sort of remembering when I'm not. And no regrets. Lots of people are confused about my tattoo, and tattoos are divisive, but no regrets. I absolutely love it. And that's sometimes, I'll get in a bath. I forget I have a tattoo, obviously, but I look down, I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I touch it, or I poke the little fingers, and I go, man, I remember me, and this is what I want. And I check again, because it can change over time,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Zach, have we talked enough about the difference between values, beliefs, assumptions, stories, and the self? I think we have, yeah?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we could
Yep.
always go on and on about it.
Absolutely. Let's not do that. I hope that we've covered that. So yeah, if people are worried that their active mind is who they are, it's not. If you're worried that your transient feelings, oh, I feel bad this week, my friend doesn't want to be friends with me anymore. And also, I failed this test and I'm worried that I'm a fucking loser and my life sucks and it's always going to be this way. That's fair and legit worries and feelings, but these are feelings. These are not your deepest personal truth. They come, they go. Don't confuse thoughts, feelings, or intermittent feelings, transient thoughts for your truth. They are things that your consciousness is experiencing. It doesn't mean that it's who you are. Cool. Zach, for you, what are some things that make you know, like, or just feel aligned with you that might be different to other people? And how do you know, and how does it make you feel? How do you know when you're in alignment? How do you know when you're not?
Hmm. Well, I mean, usually it means that am not feeling too shitty. But not that that's like the point. But usually, like if shit's going on, or if whether it's good or bad, um, I have like kind of anchored in myself. Like I have a sense of calm, if you will. So if shit's hitting the fan, and I know that okay, this isn't necessarily about me. The world is not ending. Do 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 do. I'm generally like,
Mm.
okay, I know where I stand, I guess. Um, yeah, so I'm sorry.
What about you personally? Like, you're a gamer, right? What are you into that other people aren't into? And can you explain that or not?
What are you asking exactly? You've gone through like 45 things. So I'm trying to.
Oh, like, so I'm into bears, for example, right? And I don't know why.
Mhm.
What's something that you like that seems a bit unique or different to other people? And I think that it simply points to like you. I mean, why should I like bears?
Because the Lord gave it to
There's
you.
no good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you feel like? You bought some artwork lately, right? You like Zodiac and maybe werewolves or creative self-expression,
Yeah. I
or
mean,
what do you like that
I
feels
mean, the
you?
big one from back in the day that still perpetuates is like Pokemon and anime. So I
Right.
obsessed with it. I mean, I sleep with fucking like four Pokemon dolls. So like, yeah.
Plushies? Yeah,
And
nice.
it
How do you know that that aligns with you? What does that
because I
do
just
for
like
you?
it. It gives me I
How
makes
does it make you
I
feel?
enjoy it. I like the feeling of things. So I feel excited. It's one of the few things that I actually feel like excited for, or used to be at least. When I was,
Mm,
caught up in all my stuff from a long time ago, I would always turn to Pokemon for comfort. Um, and
mm.
like if it was being announced, it's unfortunate because like my friends would be like, "Oh, this really great thing happened to me," or "This great thing's gonna happen to you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm depressed." And then Pokemon, would announce it, and I'd be freaking out. And I'm like, "Sorry, I never gave you a good reaction. I'm really bad at excitement." You know.
Ah,
But
nice.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah, man. When you said comfort, I think that's a big one. When you feel safe and free or playful and silly or like unburdened by life itself because you're like baking a cake or having sex with a man or, you know, enjoying Pokemon or buying a plushie or checking out the new cards or watching the new movie. Like, I think that's how you know it's in alignment with you. Something about it speaks to your soul, for lack of a better word, and you just feel right.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like, because back in the day, anime was, not it was frowned upon, if you will, made fun of. Now everybody's into it. I'm like, fuck you. I paved the way. But like I
Yeah.
kept liking it. I didn't conform to stop. I just found my best friend who I'm still friends with, Ariel. And like we just bonded over that and throughout all of high school and still to this day, like it's always matched with us. So
Yes.
yeah.
I wrote down not taking others' drama or shit, holding your boundaries, speaking your mind with openness and humility, but not fearing being heard or being wrong. So
Right.
that's a complex way of saying you loved Pokemon regardless of what people suggested, that it was childish or stupid or wrong or dweeby, or what's the slur against anime fans?
Uh, Otaku. Yeah.
Weeby
Weebs.
and otaku. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
weebs. Yeah. So regardless of that, you could still sort of amongst safe circles where you didn't feel attacked. You're like, yeah, I really like this. I really enjoy this. So you're saying, I do want that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Um, not really caring what other people say or think about that topic. It still matters and resonates with you. So it's a good sign that it's in alignment, or you're in alignment when you're in that
Mm-hmm.
zone. I think play and silliness is something that I'd like to bring up as well. I think playfulness and silliness emerge from people, and it's so delightful and connective and important and nourishing and pleasing to be able to engage in play and silliness frequently. And I hope that this matters to a lot of our listeners, especially when you're feeling depressed, right? Play and silliness emerge from within us when we feel safe enough to let ourselves out, let that deeper self be embodied or enacted or engaged with, seen or heard or known to us and then to other people. And then the play and the silliness can emerge from there, and it's just so beautiful and delicious and delightful. When people are in their element, and I think even if you don't love the same element, it's still a very connective, vulnerable, beautiful thing when you see someone love something, and you can love the fact that they love that thing, even if you don't love that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a large part of like where when you're on your self-discovery journey, if you will, where you can find because you think you're so consumed by your disalignment, so you go in and you're like, well, I'm a piece of shit and blah blah blah, and then they talk to you and they you go, so you think you should, be bad to other people the way that you are to yourself. Basically, it's like, oh no, oh I guess I'm not. And through that, when you look back on stuff, you're like, oh, I guess I am pretty. Uh, myself has come out a lot, like with the facility play, I always fuck around with people, even at work. And it's generally what's made me likable and stuff.
Mm,
But I thought that I
mm,
was like putting on an act, but really I do like joke around and people laugh and, professionally,
yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do shine when I'm comfortable with people or I want to make it comfortable or I just don't want to
Yes.
conform to like a rigid. I'm like, no, we're all going to be working together, so we might as well have a good time. So
Yeah. Yeah. And that reflects you, and then you feel right when you're creating that environment and
yeah,
enjoying that environment that way.
yeah,
Yeah. Man, there's nothing more depressing than like a soulless fucking corporate environment where everyone's being appropriate and responsible all the time.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. It's pretty oppressive.
Ugh. Absolutely. Even though it's not attacking anyone, the fact that it's not allowing strangeness and
Mhm.
weirdness is denying
Right.
everyone, which is so sad. Yeah, this like we sort of have a modern cult of effectiveness or productivity, and it crushes the
Yeah.
human. I mean, I think there's elements of all of us that like making money, becoming powerful, learning skills, shifting units, being a responsible corporate citizen. But by denying the self and the individual, you really are just going to lead to depression, anxiety, just a sense that something's wrong or not enough or not right or not good, because you're not actually living a self-aligned life. You're not
Mm.
actually being allowed or encouraged to express and be and enjoy exactly who you are, which by the way you have no fucking choice over. So it seems really cruel, right?
Yeah. Totally.
And this is where we come back to my hated enemy, values and beliefs. Because you have to believe that something is bad or wrong in order to shame it, shun it, reject it. Um,
And if you
Generally
believe,
speaking, yeah.
go on. Sorry.
Oh, it was a little bit of an oversimplification because, like, there are things that can just rub against your true self. Like, take violent, aggressive rape or something, non-consensual force or violence or harm. I think harm, we know it when we feel it and see it and smell it and experience it, and we all hate that. I don't think you need a value or a belief to hate harm, and
Mm.
I think we all share that. If you don't share that, you're like so lost in your head at the moment that you've really lost touch with your heart.
Hmm.
And that's, I think, what we call like sociopathy, psychopathy. I'm not a psychiatrist, but yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
picking up what I'm pointing at. And that brings us back to corporate, right? Those soulless managers who don't really care about the individual. They're just like, no, we're going to do this because it leads to profits. And it's like, I'm dying inside, even though you're
Yeah.
not being mean to me. I'm
Yeah,
dying.
totally.
You're being mean to my soul.
Yeah, I mean, like with interpreting, there's a big values, if you will, or ethics thing, and a lot of the time people like are really rigid. Not always, but there's a lot of people that value like your neutrality and being a machine more than the actual deaf customer or hearing consumer, and how they're actually
Right.
experiencing you. And so I've noticed
Yeah.
that like even when my skills weren't, great, like I would be chosen over some people who are older or da 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 because they were just so like inhuman and not being themselves. And it was a
Monotonous.
yeah, and like with
Yeah.
interpreting, it's a lot of it was too much emphasis on me not being me that I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna be me. We're gonna have a relationship, okay, and then I'll do my job, you know?
Yeah. 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 Nice. That's a really good example.
Yeah,
So yeah, dear listeners, if you are living in a soulless reality, wondering why it hurts so much, I hope you've just discovered why. And if your job, career, your life, your choices, your behaviors, your habits are out of alignment with you, you are inevitably going to feel bad and probably going to get depressed. And then you can have a nice midlife crisis, hit a turning point and really question yourself and discover how you would prefer to live. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, awesome. I wish they taught this kind of stuff at school, right? Because it's not rocket science.
then they would be not able to control them later in life, So,
Oh, if you say
so
so. All right.
good,
maybe so.
good on my
Maybe.
tinfoil hat.
Maybe
Yeah.
yeah, true. I in on this case, I'm a little bit on team forgive them for they know not what they do. Like we don't realize, but we're caught up in such large groupthink, social dynamic patterns that we don't question the system, but no one's actually enforcing it, but everyone is enforcing it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I watched a great YouTube last night. Just quick aside, and then I have one more major point. But the YouTube's about karoshi, overworking to death in Japan,
Hmm.
and how their work environments reward people who stay the longest and do the longest hours, basically deny themselves the most in favor of the company on the surface. And the mistake is to think that they do it out of love and patriotism and like generous self-sacrifice and humility. But perhaps the more accurate truth is that they are stuck in a giant groupthink cycle of patterns that generally it is polite and appropriate to praise people who stay the longest, or even to regard people who fall asleep at their desk as hardworking and therefore excellent, and or like people who have been at the company longer than you are more important than you and senior to you and deserve to be paid more, regardless of their output. These are things that many Japanese people just feel stuck in. Not that they're actual aligned with themselves, not that they love it, but because the groupthink and the wider circles and patterns are so predominant that no one sort of feels able, or few people feel able to actually question it and fight it and combat it and suggest something new and get traction. Um, that made sense, right?
Yeah,
That
totally.
landed with you? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I also know a little bit about it, but yes.
Yeah, yeah. That is a highly specific example, but I think all cultures do that. And I think being conscious, you and I, of like our upbringing and our cultures, to what extent do we stop questioning the conditioning that we have and then be curious about how do we really want to live and behave and do and be? Yeah. I do feel that our society, culture, luckily, does actually grant us significantly more individual freedom to be weirdos and freaks. You can be a goth furry and go to a death metal concert and start a new religion in Australia or America. You can. And it's like part of our values and our culture to allow people to do that, even though you will get policed and you'll get looked at funny and you'll get the sort of social policing, but our society actually values it and it's codified in freedom. It's pretty amazing. I
Hmm.
love that. That aligns with me.
Fair. Yep, yep.
All right. Are you in danger of becoming a goth death metal furry?
No, though I did think about it a long time ago. So maybe it's on the
Goth plus death
horizon.
metal.
Yeah.
It could be. You never know what's gonna
I mean, I
happen.
was an emo kid, so step away.
Oh, you got it in you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Nice. What happened to that sweet hair flicking? My last major point, my last major point that I wanted to make, Zach, is about you brought it up actually, and it crystallized it for me. Fixing instead of aligning. You were telling your story or relating on people's stories about how you can feel so disillusioned or out of alignment or frustrated or upset that you seek out stuff to try and fix yourself as if you're broken or wrong, and that can lead to a habit and a pattern and a lifestyle of fixing as if something is wrong or broken. There may be an alternative, and this came up very strongly in class this week, that rather than fixing anything, what if we make our end game and our never ending pursuit alignment, becoming who we are and achieving what we have within us to be able to achieve? That is not about fixing so much anymore, which presumes that something is wrong or broken, but it's about enjoyably pushing forward, knowing that suffering, adversity, and problems and feelings and thoughts are absolutely coming our way, but choosing a lifestyle of alignment and constant checking and coming back and realigning and trying to become more aligned and more sort of accepting, in love with, and true to yourself, so that you can be seen, heard, known, enjoyed, that benefits you and everybody else. That it was just such a big thing this week, and you really led into it. I hope that really is resonating with people and feels important enough to want to do something about it. Frankly, if you don't feel like you're in alignment, or if you've just noticed that you're constantly fixing instead of enjoyably becoming, I just want you to know, dear listener, that is available and it is a way of living. I think generally the groupthink is towards fixing, and I don't always love that. Learning, growing, experiencing, exploring, yes, but fixing, nah. Just check if what you're doing is trying to prove, validate, or fix yourself, and then go, wait, what is the inherent problem or wrongness about me? And if you can't find it, I want to suggest to you that it
They can
doesn't
always find it.
exist.
So you probably need to know that it's not true.
Right. And that's when we need to do the
Yeah,
podcast episode on
for
witnessing
sure.
and acceptance, right? So
Yeah.
then we can do witness, accept, align. Look at us advanced operators just
I know.
laughing at
Hey,
everybody's
I can
problems,
always
Zach.
be like, oh, is there anything that's wrong or da-da-da in me? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. So it's like, wait, what? So I'm like, the alignment. But, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Then you just got to sit with it and really sit with it, and maybe sit with it again and again and again until you can find the evidence that you are wrong, or you are truly bad or wrong or cursed, or
right,
something is actually wrong with you. And I think all you'll find is judgment and your
right,
mind worrying that you're wrong, checking that you're wrong. That's not proof that you're wrong. That's your mind trying to help you with what it perceives as a problem. But if you can help your mind understand, I am human, fragile, different, limited, only human, and then you can accept that, then you can focus on becoming and
right.
aligning instead of
Yeah, I always
fixing
thought
and
aligning
proving.
was, okay, I found this
Yeah.
thing. So they're like, I don't know. Like, I feel upset when something happens. Like, I have a reaction to whatever. And so I'm like, okay, I need to fix that. And so, okay, I found out that it was when my dad was an asshole to me, blah, blah, blah. And my dad was an asshole a lot to me. So that's actually true. Blah, 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 blah. So that's why I react this way in this situation at the bar or whatever. And so now I'm going to align to myself and release that. Okay, done. Right. And it wasn't done because I was using it. Number one, didn't allow
Mm.
it to be there. I was like, you got to get gone. I have to, can't be here because it's bad. Those feelings, that reaction was
Right.
bad. And, it's all put up in judgment. And then I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, I'm going to align to myself, which means I don't have those kind of feelings anymore. And it's not okay if that ever happens or that whatever happened to me before did
Yeah.
happen. That's not good,
Oops.
So, like, it's a bunch of rejecting of yourself.
Yeah. 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 Yes. That's a really good description of the experience of
Yeah.
fixing.
Because with the alignment, it's
Yeah.
as we were talking about yesterday, honestly. Like it's a lot to do with what you were just talking about with witnessing and accepting. And it's a lot of allowing. So allowing yourself to have feelings and like just being okay that you're pissed right now or that you're upset about something and being like, that's cool. And then if you want
Yeah.
to explore more, like
Yep.
what's that related to or whatever, you can, but you're working with it, not against it and trying to reject it because you're just rejecting yourself at that point. So, alignment's where you're not. It's where you're like, oh, maybe
Yep.
there's something here that's me, and this thing
Yep.
is actually telling me these things. So, which is also you, technically, but whatever. Parts work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, multifaceted, many parts of self, but becoming aware of them and how to work with them in a way that works best for you is the joyful journey that we do here. Ah, yes. Um, I was feeling a lot of upset, heavy feelings. I don't know what I was dreaming about. I can't remember it, but several setbacks and frustrating things have happened to me this week, and I was just like, oh God, my podcast with Zach is in half an hour. Fuck. Like, honestly, I woke up very heavy, but I knew in the back of me, I'm like, that is what I want to do. That is my
Same.
priority. Even though my feelings at the
I
time were
did.
like, I don't want to fucking do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you felt that way. Exactly. Because this is hard. This is scary. Putting our voices out into public to have them heard and our opinions be judged and criticized
Yeah.
by others and talking about deep personal shit. This is a lot. This is a lot. And so it causes you feelings. But ultimately, for me, and I'm sure for you, the reason why we're here is because it does matter to us. We do care about it. And
Yep.
so this is an expression of our true selves and the joy that comes from that, even though the temporary feelings are difficult or adverse or hard, is worth it. And finding that out means that you can choose every day more and more and more to do this thing that people call eating the glass. I think tech bros and productivity cultists are just like, it's because you make more, get better. But when you take the judgment out of it, what you're actually doing is becoming the person that you want to be and achieving the things that matter deeply to you, despite
Yeah.
your difficult thoughts and feelings. Realizing you are not your thoughts and feelings. You have thoughts and feelings. And then choosing to be the conscious presence inside that you have access to then love and care for you, to build whatever life you can possibly have, is the most meaningful, satisfying, and enjoyable journey I've ever discovered, which is why I love doing it and I love teaching it. Fullygay.com. Here's the ad. Here's the ad, everybody. No, it's not fullygay.com. It's school.com/gay, SKOOL.com/gay. That's fully gay. And you can find me at Brown Bear Coaching on Instagram.
Okay.
And you can just Google Brown Bear Coaching and find lots of stuff, including Fully Gay Radio.
I think,
Zach,
we could go
any
part
final
two
points
on
for
this, honestly,
you?
but we're good.
Can we move on to cool gay shit?
Maybe. Yeah, we'll circle back, whatever.
Oh, you
never
reckon? Okay. Well, maybe we will. Maybe we'll do a whole nother episode on this. Circle back. Yeah. All right. Cool gay shit. Cool gay shit. Cool gay shit. This song doesn't have music, but here's the music. I know of an artist that makes me feel alignment. You know how I've talked before about how finding online art that was gay made me realize that other people had the feelings that I feel, and made me feel not so alone, and felt very redemptive, healing, amazing, powerful. One of those, absolutely, definitely, is at Radriguez. So it's not Rodriguez, it's an A, Radriguez, and instead of an S, it's a 5. So at Radriguez5. He makes soft boys. RADRIGUE 5. Yes. I absolutely love his work. It's stunning. The way he does big soft boys that are just men, and he includes a lot of just very natural, what would you call it? Dreamlike, soft, just beautiful bodies, suggestive poses. There can be one man or multiple men. Sometimes he puts in pets and animals, but basically, like, the vulnerability, the softness, the truth, the honesty, the feeling that flows through his work is divine. I fucking love it. Now, I know that my essence is different to other people's essence, so it may not be a bag, and art is obviously subjective. But if you want to check out Radriga 5, I strongly recommend it. And, at very least, you're like, oh, that Ed guy, I wonder what he feels like on the inside. Go look at that Rodriguez art. I feel like that a lot inside. Thanks for listening, and thanks for checking it out. Do you have any, just off the top of your head, because I can see you didn't take any notes here, Zach. Is there any?
Just wrote it in there. Okay. All right. And then I couldn't find them. But there is somebody.
What? Oh, yeah. Who? What is it?
It's actually, I mean, it's not as fun and nice, but it's pretty cool. They're doing
Oi, stop talking down to yourself, dickhead.
Okay, fine. But there's
Stop it.
okay.
There's a thing. What is it?
I'm trying to find
Thank
it.
you.
I'll have to add it on the next one, honestly. But it's a trans woman who sought asylum out of the U.S. and they're actually doing like a lot of help for like queer people to get out. So I'll have to add that next time because it's really cool.
Oh, it's an account that talks about fleeing the US because
Well,
it doesn't
and
feel safe to be trans here.
because it's literally they're doing bad shit. So, but it's like how to do the process and stuff. So they actually work with you and stuff, and yeah. So they're pretty cool. But I
Cool.
need to figure out what their name is. So
Okay.
next time.
All right. Next time I'll give you an extra minute to have a note in here.
Yeah.
So I don't leave you hanging like this. Sorry.
It's fine.
All right, cool. Zach, thank you very, very much for your time, effort, care, and love.
Back at you.
Did you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for being here, and I'm glad to be here at all times. So, and that's your buttload for the week.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. Listeners, if you like my voice, if you like our interplay, if you like exploring these things and you think that that could be a big deal for you in your internal world, in your relationship, self-confidence, clarity, connection, charisma, head on down to skool.com/gay, skool.com/gay. I will get in touch with you. I will understand what you want more of and less of. I will point you to the most helpful, useful resources inside. Zach will be there. Multiple other beautiful people will be there. And we'll see if you can benefit tremendously, either with just the free stuff or also with the paid group work, if that floats your boat and aligns with you. Thank you very much, everybody. Until next week. Take care. Bye-bye.